Hello everybody, I am Abhijit Banerjee and this is the fifth part of the lesson, the French Revolution. And in this part, I am going to discuss about the role of women in revolution. Women played a significant role in French Revolution and their active participation brought changes, important changes for the French Revolution. And not only they holding the householding works, but also they also joined various occupations like dressmakers, laundry workers, flower vendors, fruit vendors, etc. Mostly they were uneducated, but the family of nobles and the rich people sent their daughters in convent school. And the next point is women clubs in France. In the Constitution 1791, France adopted the active citizen and passive citizens, and women become very much disappointed with this constitution because they become a passive citizens. That means they had no political rights, and they also demanded for the political rights, just like to give vote, to be an elected as an assembly. But finally in the year 1791 they become a passive citizens, and for this reason they also started various political clubs where they can address their own opinions. And the Society of Revolutionary and the Republican Women was most prominent. Next topic is laws passed to improve the women's life. As we know that the condition of the French women was very poor, and so government introduced various laws to improve their lifestyle. First, number one, government started compulsory education for the women. Number two, women could be no longer forced in their marriage. Number three, the marriage became a social contract by the civil law. Number four, men and women both can allowed for the divorce. And the fifth, women can join a service and they could run a job and the business also. Now, these laws passed by the French government. Next topic is French women got right to vote. As we know that after the Constitution 1791, the women become passive citizens. That means they had no political rights, and almost they had to wait 200 years for that. During the reign of terror, the Maximilian government just closed the women's clubs, and they also banned the various political activities of the women, and various prominent women were arrested, and after that they were executed. But finally in the year 1946 they got their political rights. That means women own right to vote. The next topic is the abolition of slavery. The greatest social reform done by the Jacobin government was the abolition of slavery, and they also freed various overseas colonies of the France. And on the time, Caribbean island was the most slavery state for the France, and they also came to this land for their various occupations, and worker also came to this land for the cultivation of tobacco, indigo, etc. But actually the worker were not agreed to came this distant land, and this is the reason they made a triangular trade between Europe, Africa and America in the 17th century, and this was known as the triangular slave trade. And the next point is abolition of slavery in colonies. After long debates, in the year 1794, the National Convention declared slavery as an illegal, and they also freed the overseas colonies. But in the year 1804, after 10 years, when Napoleon became the emperor of the France, he reintroduced this slavery because he wanted to please this plantation owner. But finally in the year 1848, they stopped and they abolished this slavery. The next point is the revolution and everyday life. After 1789, France introduced ideals of liberty and equality. But the main things, after the demolition of Bastille in the year 1789, France abolished the censorship. According to censorship, any written materials and cultural activities should be just before the publication and before the introducing, they should took permission from the king. And this censorship was abolished after 1789. The next point is Declaration of the Rights of Man. With the abolition of the censorship and the introduction of the equality and the rights of the man, France also introduced the main things, freedom of speech and expression, and it also paved the way for the growth of newspaper, books, pamphlet and pictures. In this way, it created a opinion and the counter opinion in the France. The next topic is the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte. After the year 1794, the political instability paved the way for the Napoleon Bonaparte. And in the year 1804, Napoleon became the emperor of the France. And he also started various laws for the people, just like a protection of private property. And the number 2, uniform systems of measures and weights. And various people that decided Napoleon as a liberator. But after some times, his army became popular as an invader force. And in this way, in the year 1815, in the Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon was defeated. And now the people of the France decided various ways to follow the Napoleonic code and Napoleonic rules. And this is the end of the French Revolution. And from this lesson, we understand that maybe this revolution started in France and this is the part of the Europe. But from this French Revolution inspired the whole world. And not only whole world, our prominent King Tipu Sultan and Raja Ram Mohan Rai also inspired very much from this French Revolution. And this is the end of this lesson, the French Revolution. Thank you.